My name is Matt Bray. I'm a senior manager with PwC Corporate Finance. I've been working here in Brazil for 3.5 years. I work in a financial market in mergers and acquisitions, and in 2008 the market in the UK was just going really badly. So I went to my boss and asked him where I could go outside of the UK, and he said, well, Brazil was near the top of his list and it was top of my list, so we agreed that I could make the move here to Brazil. And a year later, around October 2009, I started work here. A lot of people, when they come to Brazil, they have some really low expectations about Brazil and the level of its development. Thankfully, I had quite a realistic view about what Brazil was going to be like. But I would say that probably the thing that really struck me the most when I first arrived is that it's much more, it was more developed than I thought, and more consumerist. You know, the number of shopping centres and places to spend money really surprised me when I arrived. So that was probably the thing that stuck out most. So I studied Spanish for 5 years when I was at school, and I think it had been maybe 8 or 9 years since I left school when I arrived in Brazil. But Spanish is 60–70% the same as Portuguese, so you know, it's really a case of just practicing all the time, being really disciplined, and just trying to speak only in Portuguese, and be disciplined about learning the grammar and really applying yourself to improve vocab. And if you can find a good bunch of Brazilian friends, or even better, a girlfriend that's Brazilian, your Portuguese will improve very quickly. There are obviously a lot of, I mean, Brazil is a hugely different country from the UK, and yeah, there are things that make your life difficult when you arrive, but I think the most important cultural difference is with the people that live here, and people in Brazil make you feel extremely welcome. So that kind of overrides the cultural differences that that kind of make things maybe a little bit harder sometimes. When you first meet a Brazilian person, one of their first questions is about family, and is your family here with you, and what does your family think about you being here? I think that for me, as a British person, family for me is a little bit more. My family sort of was more geared towards preparing me to move out of the UK, maybe. So I think that my family's been really supportive of me coming here, and Brazilian people very quickly become part of your new family, because they're very personable, friendly people. So it's very easy to build up a sort of family type environment around you quite quickly, because you soon make lots of friends. Yeah, I think for me, I'm lucky enough to have a health plan through work, and I'm very lucky that I live 15 minutes from the office, and that's either by taxi or by bus. And because some people in Sao Paulo, they come an hour and a half, 2 hours to work every day, and that's one way, and then they've got to go home. So fortunately, I live very close to the office. So but again, it's no secret that public transport needs to be improved. But for me, I just made sure that I lived close to work, and fortunately, I end up living close to most of my friends as well. So it works out just fine. In terms of your day-to-day life, things that we take really totally for granted in the UK and Europe and the US, wherever. Normally everyday stuff, email, getting around, telephone calls, banking, those sorts of things. Okay, they're not like A grade. They do, I definitely, my mobile calls definitely cut out more than when I'm at home. But your day-to-day life is, stuff works. I mean, it's like it's a normal functioning city. You can make stuff happen. Yeah. Doing business in Brazil is very personal, very personal. It's all about personal relationships, and you have to be very, very close to your clients, much closer than you do maybe in the UK. And it's very easy to get meetings with people here in Brazil. Very, very easy. And business owners. I work with business owners principally. And they are much more open and friendly than in the UK, and willing to spend time and willing to listen to what we have to say. Sometimes selling in Brazil is getting someone to sign on the dotted line sometimes is a little bit tougher, but it's a very welcoming business environment, and in many ways it's a fun place to do business. In other ways, again, no secret, but there's a very active bureaucracy in Brazil, and there are sort of things that do make things a little bit harder. But on balance, yeah, it's an enjoyable place to work.